Hey, what is happening, fight fans? Last night we got a super middleweight match between the great Saul Canelo Alvarez and Jermell Charlo, and it was Alvarez by unanimous decision. Let me start with my pros and my cons for the fight. Let's start with Alvarez. At 33 years old, pretty much getting to the end of his prime, he still looks sharp. He still has quick hands. He still has quick feet. He still has good upper body movement. He showed the jab, he showed the left hook, and he definitely showed the body shots. And he did a very good job of mixing up his punches, mixing up the attack to not allow Charlo to see where his attack was coming from. As for the cons for Saul, nothing. There was no cons. There was nothing he did that I felt that I need to critique from last night. As for Jermell Charlo, the pros would be, first of all, props, big props for Jermell jumping up 2 weight classes to fight arguably the steel pound for pound king of boxing. Jermell, I like the fact in the first round he kind of gave a different look. What I mean by that is Jermell was moving a lot with his feet, trying to get his position, trying to gain position, trying to, in my opinion, not allow Alvarez to see what he wanted to do. He used his jab decently. I will give him that, and he did land some decent counter shots. Let's talk about the cons for Charlo. Not enough offense. He said that he wasn't going to go into this fight looking to survive, and I felt that starting around round 3, that's exactly what he was looking to do. He was just looking to survive, knowing that no matter what happens, this is a win for him. Let's talk about the fight. As I mentioned a few seconds ago, the first round was a fill-out round that was to be expected. Both men were trying to fill out the other to see what he was trying to bring to the fight and what he could do to off-put those moves. By the second round, Alvarez found his range. He began to land a quick left hook, throwing the left hook to basically stop Charlo from moving to his right. As the fight goes on, in my opinion, Alvarez just became more dominant. He found his distance. Jermell was backing up against the ropes, and every time he did, Canelo would throw that looping right hand, or he would hit him to the body. That caught up with Jermell in the 7th round when he had to take a knee very wisely because Canelo landed a clean. It looked like it was coming like a looping right hand, but it ended up being a straight right on the chin, followed by an uppercut. And I believe that Charlo was stunned, and very wisely he took a knee. Pretty much from rounds 8 through 12, it was all Canelo Alvarez. And in the end, Alvarez by unanimous decision. I would have liked to seen Jermell be a lot more active in this fight, to show a lot more offense, to try to do something to keep Alvarez at bay. But I think, in my opinion, that Jermell knew that no matter what happened, it was a win for him. If he somehow pulls off this upset and he beats Saul Alvarez, he knows that he would be the top dog, or at least one of the top dogs in boxing. It will be a great, great upset. And if he loses, even though he wouldn't say this, we all would say what? Hey, the young man jumped up 2 weight classes. You know, this is a junior middleweight jumping up to super middleweight. So who really cares if he loses? That's why I thought that this was a good fight for Jermell Charlo, because he really doesn't lose either way. If he loses the fight, hey, he came up 2 weight classes. He dared to be great. And he can always go back to junior middleweight, which is what I'm assuming that he would do. I think it's no shame in Jermell Charlo losing this fight. He dared to be great, and that's what we like to see in fighters. So let's talk about what happens from here. Let me start with Jermell Charlo. He mentioned after the fight that he is going to go back down to junior middleweight, and he said in no uncertain terms that he's going to wait for Terrence Crawford, that he's expecting Terrence Crawford to come up to junior middleweight, and that's who he wants to fight. And that is a fight that I would like to see. 2 guys around the same age with very great skill sets. And I think that Jermell will be just fine. And I think that, I'm not saying right now that he would beat Crawford, but he would have a good chance, a better chance of beating Crawford than he would have what he had last night against Alvarez. As for Saul Alvarez, he said he didn't really say anyone that he wanted to fight. He just basically said that he would take on all comers. Now, I was listening to a post-fight interview, and they were saying that there's talk out here that Terrence Crawford said that he wanted the winner and that Terrence Crawford is willing to jump up 3 weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez. Not a fight that I would be excited to see. I would be, I guess I would be a little excited because it would be Terrence Crawford daring to be great, but not a fight I'll be looking forward to seeing because I don't think that Terrence Crawford could beat Canelo Alvarez. Why do I say that? Because as great of a technical boxer as Terrence Crawford is, Canelo Alvarez is a thicker and probably a stronger man. And with as great as Crawford's boxing skills are, at some point in the fight, Alvarez is just going to start walking him down and do exactly what he did to Charlo last night. Am I saying that Crawford can't win that fight? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that I more likely would not pick Crawford to win that fight. There's also Dimitri Bivol out there. Some people want to see that rematch. They want to see Canelo go back up to light heavy and avenge that loss. The fight that I would like to see, I would like to see David Benavidez. I would like to see what Alvarez could do with Benavidez walk down style. You know, Benavidez is a come forward fighter, and he will put pressure on Alvarez that he probably hasn't seen in a while. Maybe Bivol gave him some of that, but I think that it will be a lot of that coming from David Benavidez, and that's a fight I would like to see. Instead of Crawford, instead of Bivol, I would like to see David Benavidez. Of course, there's also the chance of Demetrius Andrade out there, the so-called most avoided man in boxing. That wouldn't be a bad fight because I would like to see Alvarez fight some of these fighters who people say that he's avoiding to kind of get him out the way. That's why he called out Jermell Charlo. That fight fell through and Jermell stepped in. Well, fight fans, what did you think about the fight? Did you find it entertaining? What did you see? And who do you want to see these guys fight next? I'm talking about both Charlo and Alvarez. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so we can keep talking boxing. I'm sorry, fight fans. One more thing I just want to get off my chest, man. I don't know about over here in the United States, the rest of you on the East Coast, but this is a con that I have for boxing in general. We need to do something about these fights being so late. If you live on the East Coast, this fight, I mean, I remember looking up at the clock, and when the 6th round started, it was 12:19 a.m. You know what I'm saying? These fights are starting way too late. Boxing needs to take a page from UFC's book, and they need to get these fights started immediately. Get them started a little bit earlier and get them started immediately. Listen, the people on the West Coast, my people over there, you guys are good. These fights are right on your time. And, you know, this fight is starting around 9 o'clock or so your time, 9 p.m. Now, my brothers and sisters in the UK, you're probably, are like, come on, bro, these fights are coming on at, 5 in the morning over here. And I get that. I've always said for years that I commend you guys for staying up or either taking a nap and waking up early in the morning to watch these fights. So I understand for my people overseas, but this is more of a gripe for us here over here in the States. It would be nice for us East Coasters, our people in Eastern time zone, for these fights to start earlier, and we can stay up and be more alert for these fights. Sorry about that last rant, but I had to get that off my chest. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so we can keep talking boxing. That's all I got. I'll let y'all later.